Righto team, so what are we doing here? Okay, so Wolfie was having some issues. You'll see the last video, or this video that I put up where I'm riding to go to the west, the coast to coast. I never actually make it, I break down. I then fix the bike, take it for a test ride and break down again. I took it to an auto electrician who diagnosed the problem as the starter motor engaging and then failing to disengage. I've now decided that I really can't ride that bike and trust that it's not going to break down all the time, so I've gotten rid of it. So in the interest of moving forward with motorcycling, I've decided to buy a new bike. And as you know, I've been tinkering with the idea of getting a Harley. And this could be that bike. It's a 2008 lowrider. Standard comes out with, I think it's 88 cubic inches. It's now been worked to a 103 cubic inch. It's got a stage 3 kit on it. High flow intake, high compression heads, aftermarket exhaust, Race Pro ECU flash. It's got the single seat on it. We'll do a walk around in a tick if it stops raining. What else has it got? Steering stabilizers. It's got a brand new rear tyre. That I'm talking brand new. It's just come off the lift and it's wet, and I don't know this bike very well. Not the best conditions to be test riding in, but I'm not going to buy a bike I've not ridden, so hence the test ride. But the bike's travelled 31,000 miles. The engine's only done 18,000 miles since all the work's been done. It's got a progressive aftermarket front shocks, Öhlins rear shocks. Looks like we'll ride into some clearer weather out this way, hopefully. So it's now a 103 cube or a 1584 cc. 6-speed, belt driven obviously, with a torque cam, which I believe is standard when they do the stage 3 upgrade. I'm soaking wet. I'm soaking wet and I don't mind. Rightio, so what do I think of it? It's got plenty enough get up and go. It may not be hugely high in horsepower, but it's definitely got the torque. And once you get your head past the fact that horsepower is not everything, And torque is what gets you from point A to point B with a sense of, I suppose, urgency or push, then you're okay. The seating position, I find if I'm sitting back kind of slouching, all my weight is on the upper part of my arse, so my bum's actually gone numb, which means my tailbone's not hurting. It handles alright. I'm not going to be throwing the brakes on anytime soon with the new tyre and wet weather. I'm absolutely bloody soaked, but it's the most fun I've had wet like this on a motorbike for a while. It's actually not unenjoyable, even though I've got a sore ass. So what do you think, team? Shall I buy it? I'm thinking I might. G'day team, it's the old mate, the Kiwi Badger, back again. Ran out of battery and it's a whole new day today. We're out yesterday in the 08 Lowrider. It was a fun bike, but a couple of little things that I could have been better. So I'm on something different. And I've always contemplated this bike, should I have ever wanted to go to a cruiser, and that is an M109R Suzuki Boulevard. This bike is a bigger bike, so me being not small is is another option. Oh, he doesn't like leaning, that's for sure. Okay, that's something to get used to. Doesn't like slow roundabouts. So this is an 1800cc 52 degree V-twin. It's a bit wider than the Lowrider. It's a hell of a lot longer. Very oh geez, what do I want to say? Changing gears is an experience. It's very mechanical. Bit of a thud that happens. It's got a gear indicator, which is cool. It's got a tacho up the top there, speedo down the bottom on the tank. This bike is a 2015. It's travelled 14,000 kilometres. That's kind of different. It's got like a 22 litre tank, which is good because it's a big, heavy, thirsty mama jamma. And I got absolutely soaked yesterday, and it looks like I'm about to get soaked again. The Lowrider was a fun bike. It was a very visceral experience with the noise and the vibration and that kind of thing. It was good, but it made me feel like my feet were going to slip off the pegs, and my ass got sore, as I mentioned yesterday. So yeah, I'm riding another bike. I always said to Blair, before he even became a Harley dealer, I said that if I was ever going to go to a cruiser, that the bike I'm currently on would be one that I would consider seriously. But one thing that put me off about this bike was the size of the rear tyre. It's huge and it's expensive. One thing I've heard about this bike is it's not a very good handling bike, and just at low speed it's proving to be the case at the moment. But by this stage yesterday my ass was already sore, and today not so much. So I took the lowrider for a ride yesterday, and I came back and he mentioned that this has just been traded. This particular bike is a 2015. It's travelled 14,000 kilometres. That's 14000. So it has travelled half the distance of the lowrider. It is 7 years newer, and this particular bike Blair sold to its last owner from new. Blair's also done the servicing on this bike, so that's also a positive. So yesterday it was an unusual bike on a brand new tyre in wet conditions. Today it's an unusual bike, or an unfamiliar bike, with tyres that need replacing on a wet surface. So again, not ideal. But anyway, we shall continue. Straight away, the bumps, it's a smoother ride than the lowrider. The lowrider, although it had extra mods to bring the power up and the torque, I think it probably needed those. Whereas this, I think, makes about 128 horsepower and something like 120 newton meters of torque, which is fairly considerable. And it's kind of why I didn't. The back tyre was an issue for me, because if you do a lot of straight line acceleration, you're going to wear out a $500 tyre real quick. I just have to make sure that I adjust my riding style to suit the bike. But straight away, my feet don't feel like they're about to slip off the foot pegs, which they did on the lowrider. The pegs weren't quite long enough. Apparently the guy who owned this last was short, so he's put blocks on these interesting risers that the Boulevard comes with. I don't know if you can see them. They come back a long way. But these have got inverted forks with a 4-pot caliper on the front, and it's got 2 of them. Whereas the Harley, I believe, is a 2-pot caliper, and it's only got 1 rotor. 1 rotor, 1 caliper. This has got 2 rotors, 2 calipers. So exponentially more stopping power, but in saying that, this is probably 50% heavier than the Harley. But by this stage yesterday, I was already soaked to the bone. Today the screen seems to be helping me out a bit. Very simple controls though. We've got a starter button and a kill switch on one side, high-low beams, emergency flashes, indicators and a horn on the other side. This could even be the Sport Glide that Blair sold. This might even be the previous owner here, actually. C2 ANS. I'll have to remember that and ask Blair if he's the the owner.